Well, hello and welcome to Betweenplays. All right, guys, we have a really interesting stock over here to look at, and it's SKYLIGHT Health Group. So let's just see what we can get on the stock and see where we can go on from here. All right, so I've done articles on SKYLIGHT Health Group. They have really good financial statements. I'm not really too worried about them, and that's a great thing because they're also in the telehealth industry. We're looking at an industry with massive upside, right? Compounded annual growth rate of over 24% and stuff like that. You're looking at something that's really, really strong out there. So let's just get down to a little bit of the video on this and make sure that we see what we need to see to be able to make an informed decision on how much should we go in. Because listen, I'm telling you, I went in a lot of money. And the reason why is because, I see SKYLIGHT Health Group as a long-term investment. But, we all know that, IPOs, SPACs, uplistings of this nature, that you can make a great return. We see it when it goes from .cn to ventures. There's always the price range was here, it gets here. So we always see a lot of movement. Like look at recently, MindMend. You just see these in the stocks all the time. So anyways, SKYLIGHT Health Group. Let's get into it right now. But before we go in there, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We're trying to get to 1,000 followers, and once we get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to be starting to do interviews. That was my goal since day one. Now that's enough about me, and that's enough about Betweenplays. Let's get on with SKYLIGHT Health Group. Okay, so SKYLIGHT Health Group. Okay, so look, you're looking at a very interesting company. Care for when and where you need it. We believe that quality care should be delivered the way it used to be. Highly accessible and uncompromising in quality. We're committed to providing the best care to you and your family. Now, the SKYLIGHT Health promises we bring the focus back on you. All right, high quality, affordable health care, and they are big in the United States. In my opinion, they're extremely important. The cost savings that they're going to be giving to Americans and the quality of care, telehealth, footprint clinics at an extremely affordable price, where you could even, unlimited doctor visits. Let's get more into that, okay? As you can see, Premier Pain, these are some of the places: primary urgent care, Rocky Mountain urgent care, and family medicine. Absolute injury and pain physicians, Apex Family. So, personalized healthcare with doctors who know your name, probably serving more than 150,000 patients across the U.S. And look, if you don't have insurance, we have a solution. That's very interesting. We recognize that not everyone has complete insurance coverage. So for those that are uninsured or underinsured, we offer an unlimited. Now this part here, unlimited telemedicine subscription service for only $199 a year. This is very important because even when you go look at the competitors out there, all right, in telemedicine, if you have seen one, like call it out. I haven't seen one that's cheaper than this. For unlimited coverage, I've seen some that it looks like they're cheaper than this, but then the next year, it actually the cost increases, whereas this one does not increase. Some of the others don't have footprint clinics. These guys do, and some of them you have to be with an insurance company to access their plans. There's a lot of things that come into play. I haven't seen anyone that's beating this. I really haven't seen anyone that's beating this. This is really interesting stuff. Honestly, very interesting stuff. So I really believe that they're going to be very, very popular and in the United States. Now, here's some of the plans that they offer. But signing up is simple, as you can see here. Purchase a membership option below. Schedule appointment to speak with a practitioner. Meet a medical practitioner via video or phone. It's your choice. You choose. Now, individuals annually, $198 per year. $1,650 monthly when paid annually. And you click here, you get to, go into there to purchase it and stuff. It's very, very fast, easy, simple, and efficient. Unlimited access to medical professionals, same day or next day appointments, discount drug card included for free. Remember this part right here. Virtual telemedicine appointments, prescriptions, doctor's notes, complete care coordination. Children under 8 are included free. Think about it. A family in the United States, this is the United States, it's not Canada here. United States, all right, where healthcare is very expensive, or you have to have expensive insurance, all that kind of stuff. For $198, you have unlimited coverage. You have on your phone, whatever, like telemedicine. They have footprint clinics in some states, and they're just continuously expanding. They have a really good system, and if you have 2-3 kids under 8 years old, it doesn't matter. They're all free. A family that, let's say has 3 children, all free. Imagine the cost savings to that family if their child is not feeling too well. I can't even imagine how much money they're saving by just paying $198 for the year. Look at if you're paying $599 for a family plan. 2 parents, 2 children, basically under the age of 18. So basically, one person's free in here. Because if you do like 2, 4, 6, if you just want to round it out, that's 3 people. For 4, it would be 8, right? 2, 4, 6, 8. Well, this is $600. So it's like a person's free. And then your children under 8 are also included. It's always children under 8 are always included. So it's quite extraordinary. Let's go to, you have your single visits over here, and then you could upgrade. Okay, now what I want to show you is this as well. So peace of mind, children under 8 years old are included with your annual subscription. So you have an annual subscription. Your children under 8 years old are free. That's just quite insane. Imagine having 2 kids. One's 10, so you'd have to pay. One is like 16, you'd have to pay. And then, you have like 2-3 others that are under 8. So you have a really big family. But you don't have to pay, because if you have the family plan, your 2 kids under 18 are great, all right, for the price of 3 adults. So the price of 3 people, you're getting a 4th one free. So your 4 kids, your 2 adults and your 2 kids are in there. And children under 8 are free. How much cost savings is this in the United States? So you can speak to medical access to professionals, speak with healthcare providers today. So here you go. This is your 8 years old, included with your annual subscription, which is amazing. Safe, compliant, affordable. Make sure your family has access to healthcare when they need it. True. Virtual telehealth appointments via phone or video from home, same or next day. Get your prescriptions filled and save up to 80% off your purchase of your medication. No copays ever. Avoid costly copays for your everyday medical needs. Healthcare shouldn't be inaccessible or unaffordable. You shouldn't be avoiding a doctor because of costs. There's like a human aspect to this, right? Philanthropy, right? It's like, I don't see why big investing companies, because they have, really good financials. I don't see why big financial wouldn't want to invest in a company like this that, just help them along the way because you're gonna, the people are gonna get the money. Like the investors will make their money back eventually in the future, in my opinion, for sure, because this is going to keep on growing. And who would you go see, especially if there's not a lot of money and stuff like that when you have to see doctors? Well, this would be a great, $198 a year, unlimited, no co-pays, no extra costs, all that kind of crap. It's just straight, unlimited shit. Now, look at over here, discount medical card, basically. Included with your subscription. Up to 80, look, maybe used on many pet prescriptions too. Save up to 80% on prescriptions. Immediate access, there's no additional paperwork to fill out. Unlimited usage. That's fucking crazy. All right, accepted at over 68,000 pharmacies nationwide. Save on brand name and generic drugs. Brand name and generic. So maybe used on drugs not covered in health plans. And here's your pet prescription. This is insane. This is crazy, because we're talking about the United States here. We're not talking about Canada. This is big fucking savings for people in the United States. I truly believe this company is gonna go places. And so, of course, confidential services included in your fixed membership plan and more. All this kind of like cold, erectile dysfunction, hives, rashes, pneumonia, earaches, flu, influenza, kidney stones, pink eye, all this kind of stuff here. So I was able to speak directly with a medical provider over a video call to get a prescription filled. It was quick and the doctor was great. I also saved money at the pharmacy. And this is exactly what you need, right? So we service Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Texas, Florida, Washington. But now, if we go and check here, if you go here, you'll see that serving via telemedicine only, Connecticut, Delaware, Illinois, Maryland, Missouri, New York, Rhode Island, and of course they're currently serving patients in person and virtually, Colorado, Florida, Maine, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Texas, and Washington. So you see that they're already really big. So you have, telehealth, so virtually, in all these places, all right, across the United States, and they're just growing. And then you have these ones that have the footprint clinics, and they have urgent care clinics as well. So, you're looking at something that's going to be really, really big. You're looking at inexpensive, unlimited. You're looking at 80% off prescription drugs. I have nothing negative really to say about the company, because if I'm seeing a doctor and I get up to 80% off of a brand name or generic drug, I can get prescriptions filled, all this kind of stuff, and I have access to a doctor, telehealth, virtually, all this kind of stuff. I don't see the downsides. The downsides could just be a really bad financial, financial sheets, financial statements. But even there, I don't see it. They're growing, so the money's coming in. Their mergers and acquisitions are there. There's organic growth. There's all kinds of stuff. They make really big margins on their telemedicine. So you're looking at something really big over here. You have a lot of places, and they're just growing consistently. Organic growth, mergers, acquisitions. And I'm going to direct you to two more things, and we're going to move on. It's very important. I'm going to ask, my subscribers to also subscribe to my webpage. As you can see, I added here upcoming events. All right, so tomorrow we have an article coming out. I should have put article in front here. I will do that to clarify. So article coming out here. Here I put YouTube because it'll be CloudMD Uplisting review, which will be coming up on May 9th. You have here for viewing site posts. Now this is the newsletter sign-up form. If you have your cell phone, you go all the way to the bottom. You'll see these things pass by. And I want you guys to sign up, because if you sign up over here, what happens is that this page will become monetized, all right, in the future. So you'll have access to certain things, little bits of stuff like that. But through the monetization, people will be able to access everything. Now, for the subscribers, for the people that get in before the monetizing comes up, naturally, you're going to get, advantages. Let's put it that way. Okay. So I'm going to ask people who are watching to subscribe over here, so I have your name in the list, and I know who should benefit from that. Now let's go to SKYLIGHT Health Group over here. So we're going to go look up SKYLIGHT Health Group. I just have to put in Sky. Let's do a search bar. Let's go down. So as over here we have SKYLIGHT Health Group. Let's go take a quick look. So what we have over here is, as I put over here, like the second reason is their compassion. So basically, they're a disruptive sector stock, which was the first, the first reason I really like them. They're in telehealth, disruptive sector. You're looking at the future. Second reason I really like them is because of the compassion that they show towards humanity, because they put them front and center, and maintaining solid financials, generating profit and growth. Okay. And if you keep on going down and stuff like that, you can see I have a whole bunch of hyperlinks. So if you look over here, we're talking about national health expenditure, right? Grew 4.6% to 3.8 trillion in 2019, or $11,582 per person, right? This accounted for 17.7% of gross domestic product. Medicare spending grew 6.7% to 799.4 billion in 2019, or 20% of national health expenditure. Medicaid spending grew 2.9% to 613 billion in 2019, or 60% of total national health expenditure. Now, that is basically a high cost of GDP ratio, and it's basically unsustainable. You can't continue to spend them. And if you have virtual telehealth, why would you, there's so much cost that we can have, we could take away, right? There's so much cost we could take away. So why would you want to go into that? So government has incentive to make this grow, and the companies are taking advantage of it, and that's just great, because it's even going to benefit us. Because I'm telling you, whether there's COVID or not COVID, there's COVID or no COVID, it's not the point anymore when it comes to telehealth. I mean, it's innovation. It's innovation, and you can't stop innovation. It's just crazy to think that we would still be using the horse and buggy or a crank to start your car. Things change. When I was a kid, we had doctors come and see us at our house. Just that alone can stop the spread of so many viruses and crap like that. Because when I was a kid and the doctor came to our house, I remember having the chicken pox, and the doctor came to our house, but he already knew I had the chicken pox, or he had a great idea I had it, because we spoke to the nurse. The nurse took everything down. She understood, I have fever, this, that, and I had these, boils or whatever you want to call them. So basically, she knew it was like, okay, either the chicken pox or the measles, but she's like, yeah, it didn't cover, everything aggressively. So she knew it was a good, idea was chicken pox. Doctor came over. He was prepared for it. He understood. But I wasn't in a clinic. I wasn't, I wasn't subjecting all these other people to the fucking chicken pox. There's a lot of people today, they go to the clinic for so many fucking things that are so contagious. It's crazy. And imagine going to a clinic for, stupid reasons like just a Medicare, document or whatever. You go there, your family's all like, not sick, but, you got to take your kids because you can't leave your kids home alone. If, you're working or the wife's working or what the hell ever. And then you got to go over there, your wife's got to go over there, whatever, you put the kids in the car, whatever. Next thing you know, you're stuck in a clinic for 2-3 hours for, a simple freaking doctor's note. And then the next thing you know, you go home a week later and all of a sudden your kids are sick. Where did they get sick? I have no idea. Maybe when they were sitting down in a clinic amongst 3, 4, 10, 12, 15, 20, 30 other people that were all coughing over there and, putting their hands on their nose and wiping it on their chairs. And then your kid goes there and they're playing with the fucking chairs and then they're sticking their thumbs in their mouth. Well, that's why they're fucking sick. All right. You can't stop innovation. This is innovation. If something sucks, well, it's not going to work. Humanity will just not want it. They'll just fucking flush it in the garbage. But if something works, you're not getting rid of it. There's no fucking way in hell. We're not going back to the old ways. People could try. People could try. But let me say something here. In 20 years from now, telehealth right now starts. Let's just say we know we started a while ago. Okay, I understand that, but it's gaining speed now. There's momentum here. All right. Telehealth gets strong now and gets stronger with time with wearables and all this kind of crap. All right. So it gets stronger. Well, what do you think is going to happen in 1 year, 2 years, 4 years, 5 years when it really starts picking on and picking up a lot of momentum? A baby born today, born into this momentum today. Because my kids think that like 5 and 3, becoming 6 and 4 soon, they think that when we see doctors now, we do it over the screen. Because my three that's turning 4, she doesn't know any different because she lived from 2 to 3 through COVID. So her conscious mind thinks that this is the way it's done. So imagine if I don't change my ways and I continue using telehealth. She'll never know clinics. Never. In 20 years from now, you go, oh, you know what, honey? When you were a little, before you were born, or actually when you were born even, the first 2 years of your life, yeah, we used to go to clinics all the time. If you had a cold, and we used to go sit down amongst 30 other people that were like coughing in your face and gagging and sometimes just throwing up on the floor and having massive diarrhea. Yeah, we used to do that. Just gonna think like, what the fuck? Are you guys like Neanderthals? Barbaric? What the hell is that shit? Because they're gonna be living in an age of virtual reality, augmented reality. They're gonna be living in much different age in 20 years from now. If I look, someone in the 1960s, living in the 1980s goes, oh man, my music was great. Okay. People in the 1980s think that their music was great. Like, I love the 1980s. But the things in the 1960s, like the trends, the way it was, is not the same in the 1980s. 1980s, I was playing with Atari at home, doing all this kind of stuff. And, yeah, sure, we played outside a lot too, right? We were always outside, for sure, 100%. But the kids in the 60s would have like fucking wood toys, The kids in the 1980s had G.I. Joes. Things are different. Every 20 years, like 20 years is in especially in the last like 150 years, like fucking shit's been really picking up speed. So telehealth is here to stay. This is not a COVID thing anymore. Like, people got to get that out of their mind. And if you think it's just a COVID thing, fine, believe it. But you know what? Wait, in 10 years from now, when you look at a stock like this, you're going to be like, oh, fuck. These guys are not going anywhere. I'm not just talking about SKYLIGHT Health Group. I'm talking about like CloudMD. I'm talking about all of them. They're not going anywhere. If anything, they'll be merging. You know, there's going to be a whole bunch of shit. There's going to be acquisitions. There's going to be, because they're all coming up. They're all coming up and they're all buying, and then the other one's going to have more money. They don't want to buy. Or like, you know, big company like Amazon's going, oh man, I don't have footprint clinics and I don't have this, but I really want it. I got a fucking shitload of money. I can do that. I can really add that to this, and that's going to really... These things are going to happen. But it doesn't mean that companies are going to go anywhere. They're just going to get bought, and they're going to get bigger, and they're going to become part of a bigger... It's just... Forget about it. Kids in 20 years from now won't know what the fuck clinics were. Yeah, you're still... People are like, oh yeah, well, we got to go to a clinic, you know, maybe. Yeah, you're absolutely right. We will have to go to clinics. But we will have an appointment to go to a clinic. You know, I like to make an appointment with you. I'd like to actually physically check you. And, you know, while you're over here, we can do, like, blood tests and stuff. Although, we could always send a nurse to your house to do the blood tests and stuff. But anyway, since I'm going to say, oh, it's your yearly visit. How about if it's your fucking yearly visit? It's your yearly visit, and they have this small little clinic that's just made for that. Or they have a one-stop shop type clinic where you have MRIs in there, oncologists in there, pediatricians inside there, physiotherapists, ergotherapists, you know, kinesiologists, you know, all this stuff in a one-stop shop with x-ray machines. Because don't forget, you don't need these big cumbersome x-ray stuff now. There's so much fucking technology inside there that you have this little thing that goes over you and stuff. It's, you know, we're coming up to Star Trek days. Pretty soon you're going to have this little fucking stick and the fuck it's going to know everything about you. So, I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean. All right, so anyways, ethical business model for Americans. I completely believe that theirs has a, you know, probably, I mean, like, show me one that's more ethical than this. It's, you know, I'd like to see it for Americans. Like I said, a lot of them you have to have insurance to be able to benefit for some really great prices. Some others have some really amazing prices in the beginning, but then they shoot up in price for the following years. So I haven't really seen anyone that's going to beat this one here in the United States. SKYLIGHT Health Group has an aggressive CEO, but he has a head on his shoulders, absolutely 100%. You can see by the way he speaks, he's highly intelligent. He uses, you know, big words, the whole 9 yards. You know, he knows what he's talking about, and you can see by the group that he's put together too, and what he's put together. This is not something that, you know, people do every single day. You know, so anyways, and you know, educated person, University of Ottawa, if I remember correctly. So payment structure is, you know, in the USA beats basically all Canadian telehealth payment companies. So basically, what I'm saying here is that, like, if you even look at Canadian pay telehealth. So forget about the Medicare card ones. So let's say the ones that actually, because now they're all going to Medicare card. Okay, there's something that was changed in the regulations. So, but even the ones that used to just do pay and the ones that do pay, there was limited access to doctors for a certain amount of money, and this was actually this was beating them because it was unlimited doctors, 80% off prescription drugs, unlimited. You got to also put in the fact that unlimited for children under 8. You got to throw those things in there. This is like, I want you to pay $198, but you're not only the one getting unlimited Medicare, but you're also getting up to 80% off of brand name generic drugs. You're going to pay less for your insurance. There's a ton of fucking savings there, you know, because you only have to take insurance for like the bigger things, because for all the smaller things, you're covered, right? Because that's your $198's your fucking insurance right there to see a doctor virtually in clinic. Now, when they don't have a footprint clinic in a certain state, they refer you to where, you know, to where they believe you should go. That's even on their webpage. But if they have a footprint clinic there, of course you're going to get referred to the footprint clinic. Like, come on, you know, if they're going to service you, that's where you're going to go. So it's very, very powerful. All right. Now, so, you know, basically over here was the only exception when I wrote this, because they were using a Medicare card. But like I said, now with the regulations changed, you know, you look at almost all of them are offering the Medicare card. Okay. So plan on going international, right? So there you go for SKYLIGHT Health Group. High profit margins, absolutely, when they're using their virtual, and they open up the telemedicine. Like they have a state they can do it in, they open it up, boom. So open an application app in state before having footprint clinics. Okay, there we go. Allow assistance to reduce their insurance costs. We covered that. And like philanthropy, right? Behind this, how many times have we heard like the super rich state that that they want to give back, because they just feel like people should have access to the medical world and all this kind of stuff. Usually we hear about taking advantage of situations, but in this case I see like there's like a really human aspect to it. So I like their telehealth platform, like the network over 35 medical clinics across 15 states in the U.S. providing integrated primary and urgent care service to over 150,000 patients annually. And that's, and there's also what they offer to the businesses. That's very important as well. So they have a three-pronged approach: strategic and accretive acquisitions, expansion of service to existing customers. So they have organic growth and stuff like that as well. Primary care to expand current per patient economic revenue, 150 to 1,000 per year through insurable services, 3 subscriptions. So you have the 198, 9199 that, as we stated, provide to address 40 million uninsured Americans. That's really huge. So now the CEO, co-founder, Prad Chakar is here. Then the president, co-founder, Kash Qureshi. Then you have all these other people. You can go over here and take a look at that. And what I really like is, there's a lot of people want to have something that they relate to. I find that very important also. So, you're looking at people, JP Morgan Chase or Johnson & Johnson's executive under Peter Cummings. So you're looking at, people that have experience. Now over here, you can see here it says SKYLIGHT Health Group. And you can see that this was the evaluation. Now, for some odd reason, this is what it was. Now it seems that it's reduced, but I don't know. Listen, I don't see how it could have went from this to this, and then from what I'll show you soon. But the fluctuation is great, so I could see it going back into this, depending on the analysts and where things stand, especially now with the uplisting coming to the NASDAQs in May really soon, maybe sooner than we expect, so that's why we're doing this video. So basically, in our opinion, we believe that SKYLIGHT Health Group are going to go the distance. All right, so basically, this is off of our website over here for Betweenplays. So I would go in there. We have a lot of great websites. And now, naturally, for tomorrow, as you always hear, there's an article coming out on the future of telehealth. And that's coming out tomorrow. And that's going to be really important because that's going to add to this or CloudMD for the uplisting. And you'll understand how big the market is going to be and all this kind of stuff. So we can do that. Now, let's go and look at for businesses. Now for businesses, all right? Easy access to care for your employees and their families. So employees and their families. So it extends out of the workplace. So technology-powered, human-centered care, all right? Virtual care from anywhere. So again, touch brokers. No co-pays, no premiums, just one fixed cost annually. So provide a benefit that your employees will truly appreciate. Unlimited access to medical professionals virtually with no co-pays and no changes in premiums. Great on its own, but even better paired with an existing insurance plan. So that's just amazing, all right? So, you're saying here like at benefit both employers and employees love at 1 hour pay average hourly rate employee, you can provide a high valuable benefit solution to your company. Unlimited access to medical professionals with no copays, premiums of any sorts. It's simple, accessible anywhere. Engaged employees, easy access to care, employee retention. Help your employees stay happy and healthy. And what I really like, and I'm just going to get over here. So you have retail companies. So basically we work with organizations of all shapes and sizes. It's really important. I mean, like some people just try to go for the big stuff. I mean, they're going big and small. They don't care. They're there. I find it like education, very humane approach. It's not centered around money. They're going to make money, that's for sure. But I think that the whole fact of being centered around the human aspect is really greatly going to benefit this company. This is how I see it. This is my opinion, right, about it. Now look at what extends to the family. So it says your employees, it extends to your family. Additional benefits. Add a family member for the same rate. Children from 8 to 18 are half rate. So this is if you're going through the employee program, all right? So you never know, the cost might be even cheaper because if you're going through employees, usually you get a bundled amount. So, and think about it, you're going to get, add a member at half the rate. Children under 8, for 8 to 18 are half the rate. Add a family member for the same rate, right? And then children under 8 are automatically covered because they always are. It's fucking insane. Anyways, look, now we got to move on. Man, it's just great stuff. Oh, hold on a second. Okay, so let's move this over here. So as you can see, it's simply Wall Street. Yeah, we can leave it over here. Betweenplays. This is our account over here. And you see, I showed you on our webpage, what it was at before. I mean, it was a fucking huge divide between what it was and is now. For some odd reason, maybe the analyst changed over here or something. I haven't caught up to why exactly, but you can see that this is, I find important. Okay, this volatility versus the market is above the industry, so it's something to keep in mind for the uplisting because we might see some money like come in real quick. As you can see, a lot of green, volatility over time, like a lot of stable, and but it's also looking at a new company now. Over here, this actually changed from today. This is actually higher right now. Today, when I looked at it, this was a little lower. So a price of 148 over here, right, and a fair value of 192. You already know that you're going to be making some cash here, and it's got an uplisting. Like we have an uplisting that can happen at any time, and according to Prad Shekar, you're looking at mid-May, something like that. Like naturally, he says no promises and stuff, but that's what he's looking for because, anyways, you'll see what I mean soon. And when you look at future growth, 5 on 6, all right. And when you're looking at, just look at that beautiful graph for revenue. Look at that for 2025. That's pretty sick. Okay, look at your earnings. That's not in too many years here. We're 2021. This is right around the corner. Look at it. You're looking at a company that's going to be making a heck of a lot of money. Analyst future growth forecasts for the company and the industry. That's very amazing, right? An annual growth rate. You're looking at the industry, but you're looking at. Don't forget, they were CB2 before, so this is fairly new. This strategy. They've had the doctors, I know they've done all the stuff that they did through CB2, but this access to doctors and stuff, the way they're now, that's why they changed their name, because there's a new vision, but they're very strong, and you can see by what they're doing, like there's green all over the place. It's very, there's a lot of positive here. And then when you come over here and you look at their balance sheets, because I'm just going over here, I want to show you their financial health. Their financial health is quite amazing. Like when you look at their assets and you look at the liabilities, their long-term liabilities is a joke. They cover their long-term liabilities with their short-term assets. They cover both actually at the same time. I don't see the danger of putting in cash. I always say put in what you couldn't afford to lose, right? You should always put in what you could afford to lose. You should never gamble outside of your safe area. You shouldn't, because life happens, right? That's what happens in life. Life happens, all right? So you should always be very, very wary of that. Now, I hedged, I call it, and some people say it's not a fucking hedge, but whatever. I've had money in cruise lines since $8, a ton of cash. So I have a massive amount in cruise lines still now because I still believe that they're still going to be coming. When I was at them at $8 and $10, people were like, "Oh, you're crazy! They're going to go bankrupt, all this kind of shit." But as you can see, Norwegian's above $30. CCL is at $30, and I was in at $22 for Royal Caribbean, and Royal Caribbean had hit $99 just recently. So I have had it in my TFSA and my retirement account. I always overweight them since the very beginning. And then I even went even more overweight in January. That all being said, I put a fucking boatload of cash inside here, more than what I could afford to lose. But because of the gains that I have in the other companies, all right, it's not like that this wouldn't affect me if I couldn't. It wouldn't bankrupt me. So let's just weigh that. It wouldn't bankrupt me. It would put me in a position that I'd be like, fuck, and maybe I'd fucking take this and smash it on my head a few times, and I wouldn't tell my wife. Nah, that's not true. I tell my wife. But because like I do have like all that extra money inside the cruise lines and in CloudMD and in Neolithium and all that kind of shit. But I put in, for myself, this is my first time putting in this much money in a fucking company, all right, in one stock. Why did I do that? Is because in 2020, I fucking made a shitload of money. So when you have that opportunity, I mean, look, when I had no money back a long time ago, and this is the way I looked at my situation. When I was like using fucking little amounts of money, like $1,000 was an amount that I could afford to lose, but I couldn't afford to lose. I was like, fuck, I really don't want to lose this $1,000, but whatever. I'm gonna do it because I still have other thousands, of dollars around in my account. But it'd be really shit if I lost this because I'd like to pay my hydro bill or something like that. But my plays were always based off of looking at financial statements and read graphs and looking at candles, but further than that, because you can look at candles and you're getting a certain timeline. I like to look at the far future, mid future, and know that, according to, their financial statements, like I said, in life, shit happens, right? Life happens. And, something could happen to a CEO of a company or something like that. And, bad luck befalls the company, whatever. Shit can happen. Life happens in life. I mean, look, my nephew. Life happens, right? Shit happens. But that's a very small percentage of shit that happens, all right? So you have to be weary of it. Shit doesn't happen to all fucking companies, or else Amazon wouldn't be around, or Apple wouldn't be around, all these fucking companies wouldn't be around, IBM wouldn't be around, like fucking Toyota would have been fucking closed down, or Ford since the very beginning would. So, you gotta just be weary. You gotta be careful. You gotta you gotta take it with a grain of salt. But you have to always remember that shit can happen. No matter how much you try to calculate crap, it can happen. So what you do is you balance that out. You go, depending on how much money you have, how much you put in other stocks and all this kind of stuff. Sometimes you can go in a little bit more into another company and say, okay, well, I can, I have, I really could afford to lose $500, but I've weighed this. It's an educated play. I did my due diligence. A lot of research went inside of it. Unless, that company lied across the fucking board about their financials like Luckin Coffee did, all right? Well, then you're fucked. That's why you can't go all in sometimes in companies. But then again, in the United States and in Canada, we're much more rigid on how we look at companies. But, especially after like crap that happened to Enron and all kind of stuff. So we are like, but you still gotta protect yourself. You still gotta be smart. You still gotta protect yourself. So you know what? Sometimes you say $500 is what I can afford to lose, but I've done all my research like that. I got money in other stocks that I'm playing really good companies and stuff. They're not all penny stocks. They're stocks that's got some weight behind them and all this kind of. I played them on the lows. I bought them when they were dirt cheap and they're really high. I made some money. So how am I going to play this? For this, what's going on here with this company? This is a long-term company for me. But with the uplisting around the corner, I see massive potential. Massive potential. Once they're on the NASDAQs, you got like a lot of different firms that are going to be able to invest and say, you know what, I really like this company. I really like what they do, the philanthropy of it. I really like how, how they, the whole human care, which is the same shit I'm saying, repeating myself basically. And, it's affordable. They have a great company, all kind of stuff. So why not? And look at their financials. I mean, 21 million. I mean, you're looking at, naturally, a lot of people say 21 million is nothing compared to like other companies. You're right, but give them fucking time. Give them time. I mean, if they're taking care of their liabilities to this point and they're growing as fast as they're growing, just give it some time. Just give it some time. Look at the debt. They cover their debt. Look at this. And look at the equity. I clicked in the cash and equivalents and checked that out. So, debt level to equity ratio is 2.8% is considered satisfactory. We consider debt equity ratio below 40% to be satisfactory. Below 40%, 2.8%. Below 40 is satisfactory, 2.8%. Look, let's go to the end over here. If you look at the 6 to 9 months, if you look at all this, no shares sold. Look at all the shares being bought, even in the last 0 to 3 months. And in the last 6 to 9 months is because of the fact that they knew they were turning into SKYLIGHT Health Group. They knew the direction they were going in. They knew this company was going to fly through the roof. So look at the amount of shares that are being bought and look at the people buying them. Peter Cummings, this was a Mr. from Johnson & Johnson's. He bought up 250,000 shares. So, you gotta look at that. That's pretty crazy. 37,500. So let's go now to why I believe. Let's go to the CEO interview.
Look, if you ask me, I think we're through most of them, right? But it comes down to the official letters that you get. When we started this process months ago. So the good news is because we're a foreign public issuer with sort of trailing history in Canada, we qualify under a much more accelerated listing process. We're not going through the traditional sort of S1 filing and following a 30-day SEC review. So for us, it's really we file a short form prospectus in Canada. Typically, it takes us 2 weeks to clear a prospectus here. We filed it last week, so by the end of next week, technically we could be at final in Canada if pending comments are all clear. And then once that's done, effectively the U.S. looks at that and says, okay, if you're cleared final in Canada, we don't have any more comments. You're, from an SEC perspective, you're cleared to list if the exchange is good with you. And so, that for us really kind of gives us a green light. And so far, from an SEC standpoint, there haven't been any comments with regards to our listing. So we're pretty comfortable that from that perspective, we're sort of cleared and ready to go. The NASDAQ, of course, on its own is like most exchanges backed up. But the good news is we've had constant dialogue back and forth with the analyst. And we've had several comment letters go back and forth. And I'd say the last one that came a couple of weeks ago was pretty much in softball territory. And at this point in time, without having officially received the letter, I can't say it, but I say with some level of understanding that we shouldn't see any major roadblocks on that front. So from a timing perspective, I'd like to say May. I'd like to say closer to mid-May, but again, my promises are really kind of bent on receiving official documents. But right now we're hoping that mid-May is really the time that we get to go here. So.
Okay, so there you go. There you have it. Now you pretty much have the gist of the company. You know pretty much where it's going. They're going to Nasdaq's. We can go and look at the graph. We know it's at 148, but in all reality, you're looking at a long-term company. You know what the financials are. You know what this kind of stuff is, and you know that they've already hit 190. With telemedicine in this industry going to global $300 billion by 2026. It's you're gonna see it in if you go and read the article that's coming out tomorrow, you're gonna see that tomorrow. Well, I say tomorrow, but by the time you probably watch this video, it'll probably be Wednesday the 5th. Definitely, I'm going in, like I said, with a really good amount of money. I just see it as such a great opportunity. And this is also a type of company that you can long in 5 years from now. Definitely, I don't see the stocks, especially being on the NASDAQs, I don't see this stock staying at these prices. There's no way. I mean, this was an excellent opportunity to get into a company that, CB2, before changing into SKYLIGHT Health Group, into the telemedicine with doctors and footprint clinics and urgent care centers and all this kind of stuff, is a sway from the cannabis, medical cannabis industry they have, which they were doing great in that area too, because they were saying they were trying to put in people like for this type of disease, this is for your body type and stuff. They were basically categorizing medical marijuana to treat different people had different needs depending on your what disease you have, and also this is the type of cannabis, this is the type of whatever. Telemedicine is the future. I mean, you look at the compounded annual growth rate, 24%. You're looking at like some crazy numbers out there, and like I said, you're gonna have more information on that in the article on the telehealth industry. So listen, all that being said, I'm very bullish on SKYLIGHT Health Group, and I'm very, very bullish for the uplisting, just because we know what 2020 has been like. We know that there's a lot more people inside the stock market. We know that there's a lot of the stimulus that goes into the stock market, and we've been taking advantage of IPOs and taking advantage of SPACs. And listen, it's been it's a really crazy time in the stock market. So I'm expecting big things with their IPO. So anyways, all that being said, I hope you watched the video. I hope you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And always remember, research, prepare, plan, execute. Stay strong. Hello to everyone out there. Just taking 2 seconds of your time and asking you to hit the subscribe and the like button. I'd like to also direct you to betweenplays.com, www.betweenplays.com, where we put up many different articles. We have 3 different writers at the moment, and we're trying to up the authors. And go to our Twitter account for like really quick information at Betweenplays1, and we'll be able to get people to pre-market information and whatever comes along that is important to macroeconomics, microeconomics. As we say here, our motto: research, prepare, plan, execute. Always do your due diligence, and stay strong, everybody. Stay strong.